Joe Banya for FastPitchPower.com. It's my first post of 2014, and like many authors, I wanted to start with a resolution or an initiative that I'm going to recommend parents, coaches, athletes, and it's something I'm participating in as well because I need to get better at it myself. It's something that we can all get better at. You can never really be too good at this habit, and it's one of the most important first steps toward reaching success in any goal, regardless of the component of your life, personal, professional, fitness, or athletics related, and that's record keeping. Keeping a detailed training log or diary of your different training experiences if the end goal is important to you. Okay, so if you're an athlete, are you keeping a softball diary of your skill lessons, hitting lessons, and subsequent outcomes? Okay, so not just what you've been working on, but did what you've been working on, all right, create a positive change, or a positive performance change or improvement. If you're a skill instructor, are you creating a database of drills, skill lessons that you've been using on a daily basis with your athletes so you can monitor and continuously improve and upgrade their progress? Can you look back? Do you have the history of Vanessa? Do you understand by now? And again, if you have close relationships with your athletes and you understand your athletes, any coach will. But I'm going to give you an additional benefit here in a second of why getting pen to paper or fingers to keyboard is so important, and creating that database is so important. And it's not just to be able to prune, polish, and focus an individual's training. Okay, it's not just to understand that, you know, Vanessa, when she ramps up her training, she seems to get more fatigue than Dana does. Okay, where Dana can continuously increase training volume, and she needs that repetition all the way up to a tournament where Vanessa needs to back off a week before or 2 weeks before. She needs a little bit more time to recharge. It's not just knowing how to adjust individuals. It's also important for your own business, all right, or for your own growth of your team or club. If you're going to take on proteges, if you're going to take on assistant coaches, and you want them to be able to handle the individual training of your pitchers, of your catchers, you're already going to have that encyclopedia of your own philosophy to hand to them to ensure that those athletes are being trained based on a reference that you've already established. Super important, okay, for symmetry and consistency of your systems. If you're a professional or a team coach or a director of a club team, or a number of teams. For an athlete, I'm going to speak from personal experience as a former athlete. There's nothing I regret more sincerely from my insides than not recording what I was working on in high school and college when it came to my baseball-specific training. I did a pretty good job of writing down my workouts and following a plan that was personally important to me, and it made a little bit more sense. I didn't realize I should have been doing the same thing for my own individual skill lessons because I spent a lot of time by myself hitting off a tee with my dad, with a coach, taking a lot of swings or ground balls, and I just thought that hard work would pay off. And it got me a pretty good career, all right? But I really think if I had seen on paper, right, it's almost like getting another perspective of yourself, which you can't see when you're actually performing the training, right? You have a more subjective or objective view of your own performance and abilities if you see it on paper quantified. You can go out and work hard for 45 minutes and take 100 ground balls, but that hard, and then walk off the field and say, yeah, I worked hard today, I got in my work. But booting 15 out of 100 ground balls sounds a lot worse, okay? Then, it shows you, it gives you a baseline or a measurement that day, and will show you eventually how you can improve in subsequent lessons. Hard work is one of the most important things I want to instill and breed in my own training environment with athletes. It's something that I just wish kids just knew how to work hard. I wish they could learn how to work hard, and facilitating an environment around them is part of that. All right, but as important as working hard and showing up is focused work, is smart work, is work that's constantly upgraded and adjusted based on your previous training experience. Okay? That's really the goal. Record keeping is, I'll give you an example, is if I just were to instruct you to keep better records, just start writing stuff down. That's much like me telling Vanessa over here, you know what, you need to start eating healthy. Start eating healthy. See ya. Okay? The adherence to that instruction is going to be this. Right? She might start writing stuff down, but a couple days, a week later, she scrapped her diary. Okay? So I know the instruction needs to be a little bit more focused. So for athletes, parents, coaches, take one thing that you can write down. Right? It could be your batting lessons. Write down everything you did. Write down what your coach was having you work on, and write down how you felt. 4 or 6 sessions later, you should have a game or a tournament, or however many it leads up to a tournament. Write down the outcomes of that tournament. Did you feel good? I mean, talk about quality at bats. Don't say you went 0 for 4, so my coach sucks. Okay? All right, you hit the ball in the screws. You felt confident. You were out in front. Those things matter. Okay? That training, that sequence of training was a success. And you combine a couple of those sequences, blocks of training, and you're going to end up with some pretty good results come July and August during tournament time. All right? Same thing goes for fitness. Hard work in the gym means nothing. So many people at New York sports clubs right next to me are working hard and seeing no results because they aren't constantly making upgrades and improvements or adjustments to their program based on their prior training experience. That's where a trainer comes in. Part of my job is to make sure that I give my athletes, my clients, an opportunity to record and monitor their own progress. All right. This is the goal for 2014. Pick one thing and create a diary. Again, I'm speaking to you athletes in high school, in college. Take it from me. Right? Please write down what you're working on. Start with one thing. Doesn't matter. If you're a skill instructor, if you're a team coach, a director, right? Are you creating that database, that encyclopedia of your own personal training philosophy? Who knows, in a couple of years, maybe you'll even be able to sell it, right, and make a bunch of money because you've had success just starting with getting pen to paper and writing down each individual skill lesson.